A chair. Jesus Christ.
Me, I can't do it.
You can! You can do it, you can!
What is up guys, Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new ones. How are you guys doing this Sunday? It is so cold here. I'm so annoyed. I'm surprised I even got out of my bed today because today was the first snowfall in Toronto, Mississauga area, and I am annoyed to look at the snow and see it in real life outside because yeah, it's gonna be a cold winter. I don't even have my winter tires on because I've been procrastinating, so I have to do that. But anyways, let me just be grateful that I'm in a place where I can see different seasons. So anyways, I hope you guys have had a great weekend and a great week. Today I am back with another market analysis video, just preparing for the week ahead as per usual. And this week I stuck to the two pairs that I traded last week, which were GJ and EJ, just because, you know, GJ obviously that's the pair I trade, and EJ I've been kind of just looking more into it, studying it, back testing it, and just, you know, seeing how it moves, and I'm really enjoying that process. So I decided just to stick to those two pairs this week again. And I know some people may be thinking, you know, why don't you switch it up? Why don't you trade something different, trade a different pair? And honestly, I just simply don't want to. I simply don't want to trade anything else, which brings me to my disclaimer. As a disclaimer, everything that I talk about in this video is just from my point of view, my opinion, my perspective. Me choosing to trade these specific pairs is just me wanting to do it. There's really no other explanation. Do what you want to do. Focus on your trading journey. Don't watch other people and think, oh no, they need to do this, they need to do that. No, they don't. So yeah, this is just from my point of view. I am not telling you guys to copy me at all. I am just showing you my thought process, kind of walking you through how I think, and I'm just gonna show you the trades I've taken this week, you know, quickly review that, and then do a quick market analysis on GJ and EJ. So if you're interested, stick around, like this video, I always appreciate it. And that being said, let us get right into it. All right, starting on GJ, I'm just on the weekly really quick, and we see that we are still in a downtrend. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. So it looks like GJ closed as a doji, and I know all these like things are here, but don't mind that. So we can see with the candlestick itself, GJ closed as a bearish doji. So that's pretty interesting to see, just because looking at the last candlestick from the week before, there was this huge top wick, and I was very curious to see what that would mean coming into this past week. So it's interesting that price had essentially opened, it pushed up, it attempted to push up, you know, but it wasn't able to sustain this level, and it pushed right back down. Wasn't really able to sustain this level either, and it then moved right back up to basically where it started at the beginning of the week. So bearish doji, that can be an indication that price may be wanting to go down, but it is a definite indication of indecision. That's 100% what a doji represents. There's just some, you know, indecision in the market, but we don't know. Maybe this could be a indication that we can be pushing back to the downside. We'll just have to see. So let me just go to the daily. Actually, let me just go through my trades that I took, and then I'll do my analysis. So going down, I'll just show you guys some of the trades I took and why. So pretty much with GJ this past week, it's been consolidating. Long story short, it's just been ranging. It hasn't been the prettiest. It was a little bit difficult to trade, and I'll be honest, you know, you won't always get those markets where it's like so perfect to trade. You'll always see trends. Sometimes you'll have to really understand that, you know, it might be a bit of a fight, but you don't want to push yourself. Like for me, I don't try to push myself into taking too many trades or revenge trading or anything like that. I think that's the worst thing anyone can do. Still keeping the mindset to take what the market gives you. I feel like that's the best way to approach the market. That's how I like to approach it. But anyway, so I took a trade here at the beginning of the week, November 16th. Let me check my calendar because I'm so bad with dates. So yeah, that was a Monday. So I took a trade 2 a.m. So that's like pre-London on the Monday. And this one I had set my stop loss. I hate when that happens. I had set my stop loss above the previous high of the last H1 candlestick. So if I zoom in, I'll show you guys. So this was my entry here, but I set my stop loss above the high, above the top wick of this previous candlestick. And yeah, I entered a sell just following momentum. I saw this kind of double top here, and I saw that when price had come up here before, it pushed down. So when I saw that again, just kind of waited for price to fall away, and I entered a sell. Price did reverse. It actually almost hit my stop loss, but hey, that's what happens sometimes. You just got to remain emotionless, and eventually it played out into my favor. And yeah, I got about 35 pips from that, 35 standard pips, so that's 350 micro pips. And I intentionally set my take profit there just because I saw this level as well. Like I said, we're kind of in a range, so to get out here makes sense because as you can see, price kind of pushed down just a little bit more before completely reversing. So I was very happy to have taken my profits and have gone out by that time. And then just moving on to in the week, so I did take a trade here. Let me just zoom in and find that trade. So with this trade, I remember it was on the Tuesday, so same time, pre-London, 2 a.m. in the morning. I had taken a buy and I kind of jumped the gun. After review, I noticed that I jumped the gun just because once I saw price kind of penetrate above this minor zone that I had drawn out, I expected it to go further up. I guess I wasn't paying too much attention to these things that were happening here, but I was kind of waiting for what I usually wait for, a break and a retest, but I kind of jumped the gun. I saw the break, and I didn't really wait for the retest. And another kind of thing that I have to learn from is just to not trade lower time frames so much, not focus on them so much, because I'm a higher time frame type of person. That's where I feel like find my best entries and I'm more confident. So I know that I was using a lower time frame when I entered, and yeah, that's just a no-no. I'll definitely take responsibility for that. Just knowing that I have to make sure that I'm using the higher time frames as confidence, because if we go to the higher time frame, just as an example, the 1 hour, let's say, you can see that there is clearly no break and close above this little zone. That would have been a better indication to confirm that we might be going to the upside. But either way, still a good learning lesson. Next trade I took. So once I saw that price, this was what? So this was about an hour and a half later. So this trade hit my stop loss and I lost 17 pips. So that's 170 micro pips. And then I did re-enter. I saw that price had this strong bearish movement to the downside. And when I saw on the 1 hour it was doing the same thing, I attempted to enter a sell just because I saw this kind of break of this area here, and I anticipated it going down to at least this zone just again because we're ranging. But unfortunately, price did reverse kind of right here and hit my stop loss. It is what it is. Managing risk, that's the best way to go about it in my opinion, because I lost 13 pips here. I was totally fine with that, and that was good. So I'll admit I did take a third trade, and I shouldn't even have been up at 5 a.m. I was literally up. Like, my insomnia is so bad, and it's really catching up to me. I know I've mentioned it before, but like, yeah, it's ridiculous because, in this case, even though I was okay with those losses, I guess I took a look at the charts again a few hours later, and I thought I saw, a move, which I did. I saw that bullish pressure going up because of the fact that we had these bottom wicks here, and I'm on the 30-minute, but yeah, as you can see, we have these like bottom wicks here. Price isn't able to go below this area, and I saw that and I was like, it's most likely going to push up, but I didn't have too many confluences, so I should not have been in this trade. I will admit that as well. Again, just being transparent, like showing you guys like, yo, this is real, mistakes happen. But yeah, so I took a buy here just with that momentum, seeing the bottom wicks kind of starting to close above the previous ones. This was my only confluence pretty much. This area was the only reason why I entered a buy on the lower time frame 30-minute. and it wasn't quite a bit of profits. And then I fell asleep. And so when I fell asleep, you know, I didn't put my stop loss into profits or anything like that, just because I fell asleep. So when I woke up, price was already back down in this area. So the moment I saw that, I just closed it out with a little bit of profit, like four pips, just because, yeah, it wasn't really, like, there wasn't a reason to stay back in it. And at that point, mentally, I was just like, no, I don't want to hold it. So I just exited. It is what it is, you know. Can't really cry over spilled milk, as they say, you know. Yeah, I was in pretty big profits here. Let me even just see. Yeah, I was in over 40 pips of profit, and it all lost. It was all gone. And that, again, is the reality of Forex. So moving on. So those were the trades I took at the beginning of the week, 17th. That was the Tuesday. So between Monday to Tuesday, I took 4 trades. I think that's kind of quite a bit. I'm still trying to work on scaling back. And then I did take a trade Tuesday night, I guess, going into Wednesday. This was during Asian session. Again, just from here, anticipating price going down. I thought that because of the fact that price came right back to this area, you know, it tried a few times to break above and kind of continue up, but it wasn't able to do that. So I noticed that, you know, the bears were coming in pretty rampantly. And yeah, this is considered a new trading day technically. 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, that was considered like Wednesday already. So I entered a sell. Usually I find that Asian session, there is some momentum. Like when there's a push, it'll kind of continue the push. But in this case, it did pull back and it hit my stop loss. And that was just that. I was just like, okay. So after that, I didn't change my bias in this case because I just had a feeling that price was going to go down. I just because of like when going to the higher time frames, this is where like I really saw like, okay, we are definitely going down. So let me zoom out. So we have this bearish push, and then we have the consolidation. Usually when something consolidates, when price consolidates for so long or for a certain amount of time, usually the longer the consolidation, the stronger the push is going to be. So in this case, I was anticipating a pretty strong push. We haven't gotten it just yet, but there was still a push. So we saw this bearish push, we saw this correction, and then price started to fall off. So for me, I just waited for that chance. In terms of how I set my mindset, I said, okay, you know, I might be in a bit of drawdown because we are in a range. I don't know when the range is going to break to the upside or to the downside. So let me mentally prepare myself to hold this trade. And I entered my sell and I held it. I put my stop loss above this mini zone that I've been kind of working with, and I let it play out. And I actually held this trade from the 18th, pre-London, so 1:30 a.m. on the 18th to the end of the day, which technically it was 10:30 on the same day, but in market hours it's considered the next day. So from the 18th, technically it was the 19th in market hours. But yeah, so I entered 2 positions, so that's why even though it says 55 pips, it was times 2, so that's 1100 micro pips, I guess 110 standard pips, if my math is correct. But yeah, this is a really good trade, and it kind of, reviewing this made me realize that maybe I shouldn't be so opposed or against holding trades for longer. And especially when the market is ranging, price just needs time at this point. It just needs time to play out. So this was a kind of a bit of an eye-opener now going into this next week, that I'm gonna probably see if I can hold trades, because I feel like there's a benefit to that. It makes me take less trades, which is my main goal. I don't want to take more trades. I'm trying to scale back on the amount of trades I take, and it gives breathing room to the trade. So, you know, putting my stop loss above here and letting it play out. Yes, it was a bigger stop loss. Usually I kind of go for a 20 pip stop loss. This was about a 38 pip stop loss, but that can be well managed just by, you know, reducing your lot size and then, you know, letting the trade play out and putting your stop loss into profits, or, you know, break even as soon as possible. So yeah, this was a very big eye-opener, and this was obviously the biggest trade that I took this week, so that was cool. So anyways, those were the trades I took on GJ. So just kind of going back to my analysis, so I was mentioning that there's that doji on the weekly, and going down to the daily, I do see that, you know, obviously that bearish pressure, that bearish momentum. Friday did close pretty bullish, so at this point it just looks like we're still in this range. You know, if I draw this box here, we're still moving sideways, so I don't know if I'm going to be trading GJ this week. At this point, I'm going to be anticipating for sure a breakout either to the upside or to the downside, because yeah, it's been ranging for a while, so we'll see. Like I said, you know, the longer the range, the stronger the breakout, so if it breaks to the upside, you know, we can expect to see a pretty strong push up, maybe just back to this area, or if we break to the downside, maybe around this area. But me personally, I'm probably going to be focusing on holding my trades longer, taking less trades just to see. And I feel like it's just going to be a matter of trial and error, just kind of seeing what works. If I hold a trade and it doesn't work out, or I'm not comfortable, like, you know, just in terms of my emotions and my mentality, then I'll adjust. But yeah, I'm gonna see, you know, what happens. I'm gonna push myself to sit on my hands, be disciplined, sit on my hands, and wait for the move to come to me, wait for the breakout, and then execute. So we'll see what happens. But you know, anything below here, closing below this area, for sure, you would absolutely, you know, there would be absolutely high chance that price would be pushing back down if it closes below these bottom wicks. And if price is able to close above these top wicks, you know, then we can be pushing up. I just personally like to use wicks as my kind of point of seeing where price might want to push past. How do I word it? Like, increasing the chance of price going in a certain direction. I guess you can say I use like the wicks as an indication of that, because it's showing areas where price wasn't able to push past. So, you know, here, if you look left, it was the same area where price wasn't able to push past at one point back here. So, you know, if price is able to break and close above this area, then there is a higher chance that we will go up. So just, you know, I feel like I'm talking fast, but I just wanted to give a quick synopsis of my thought process. But yeah, just waiting to see what happens this coming week with GJ, but as of right now, we're just ranging. But overall, I do see that kind of downward kind of trend. Yeah, we'll see. My bias would probably be more so towards sells. I'd be comfortable if I saw a selling opportunity as opposed to a buying opportunity. I might not feel as comfortable, but we will see. That might change. But anyways, let us go to EJ. Alrighty, so we're on EJ right now, and EJ, just me personally, from my point of view, how my eyes are seeing it, EJ would have been a much simpler, you know, pair to trade if I'm comparing it to GJ. Just because you can see it's been trending down, you know, it doesn't look like it's been giving too much trouble. EJ has literally been minding its business and just moving, and I didn't really take those opportunities, just because once I started trading GJ for the week, I kind of started focusing on just GJ. I did take one trade on EJ. I think this was at the beginning of the week as well. I took a sell. Again, just kind of jumping the gun, anticipating price to break this area, which sometimes it does with momentum, but in this case it reversed. Again, I sold at a support zone, like, bruh. Simple things that obviously you see after the fact, but again, this is where risk management comes into play, because had I not had a tight stop loss of 17 pips, I would have been more annoyed. Like, I would have been way more annoyed, even though, yes, if you can see, price did end up pushing down. For me, mentally, I wasn't prepared to hold a trade for that long, so that would have not worked out for me. And two, had I not had a stop loss set, I would have been like in 40 pip drawdown, and I would have exited around there, because I would have probably started panicking, because, you know, when you don't have anything planned, then, you know, it increases your chances of panicking, and it just would have been a mess. But anyways, that was just the one trade I took on EJ overall. So yeah, pretty quick to kind of go through, but I love how it's been moving. It's really been nice to see. So maybe I'll keep an eye more so on EJ this week, or maybe not, just because maybe it's already made its move. So maybe now it's going to switch where it goes into the range now, and then GJ starts to trend, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But you can see that, like GJ, Euro JPY is going down too. It's in this downward trend. It's been following this downward channel that I had mapped out. So we will see what happens. I'm curious to see if we're going to kind of create a double bottom here. Like if price comes down, creates this double bottom and then pushes up, or if we're able to break past it. We'll see. But I feel like my bias with EJ is also going to be sells, just because following the momentum of the higher time frames, like this is pretty self-explanatory. This is the daily price not pushing above this area. Every time it comes to this area, it drops so hard. Like it's literally, this is the third time it's done that, and it's done the exact same thing. So these are the patterns where it's like, you know, this is what makes people able to be profitable from Forex, is because it's just history, patterns of history, things repeating itself. It's just a matter of you being able to analyze and execute and, you know, manage your risk to take advantage of those opportunities. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing day in and day out. But right now I see that we're kind of in this high traffic area, so I'd be curious to see what happens if EJ is able to, you know, break past this level, or it's gonna sustain it. But I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, taking sells just down to this area, because there's no traffic. If we're looking on the 30-minute, there's no traffic to the left of it. So I'd be curious to see if there's any selling opportunities here. I'd probably wait for a price to kind of close below this area first before, sorry, let me zoom in, before taking a sell. But yeah, and then kind of getting in here. It's about a 30 pip move. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see what happens. This was a pretty quick analysis on EJ, because I feel like EJ was so unproblematic this week. Like, what the heck? I'm looking back and I'm just like, dang, I should have focused more on EJ as opposed to GBP, JPY. But I'm pretty satisfied with just sticking to these two pairs, kind of sticking with GJ as my main pair, but then slowly easing my way into EJ, you know, taking one or two trades here and there. What my goal is to not take so many trades on each. Like if I'm gonna focus on, let's say EJ for example, then I'll be taking substantially less trades on GJ, or the other way around. Yeah, my goal is just to not overtrade. I don't want to be in the market too often. So it's something that I have to work on every day. Me personally, I'm just talking about myself. It's something that I have to work on every single day, because I'm still learning, you know, as most of you are, just learning, trying to be the best trader that I can be. But yeah, overall, that's pretty much it. A pretty quick analysis. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for stopping by. Like this video if you enjoyed this nice and quick analysis video. Comment down below, what pairs are you trading this week? What are you looking for? How was your trading week last week? Were you disciplined? Were you not? Did you learn from your mistakes? Because that is the most important thing. I always try to learn from my mistakes, no matter how many times I make them. I want to learn. Like, the goal overall is to completely get rid of the bad habits and just stick, you know, with the good habits. But yeah, comment down below, let me know what you're looking for this week. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe so you know when I post another video. And in the meantime, feel free to check out any of my other videos on this channel and my other channel. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. Happy trading week. Good luck to everybody, and have an amazing day, week, and life. Bye!